All right, cool. Well, VJ Sal, we are live now. This is Monday morning, as we've never known it before. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm in the office today.
Excelente, excelente. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Yes. And today's topic, I shall try and get it from the team here. What's the topic? So obviously, topic is quite technical. It's how landlords and tenants are using data-driven what? Data-driven strategies. So what he's saying is that tenants and landlords are somewhat relying upon technical data to somehow try to derive strategies. But strategies for what? Is that for property? Right. Right. They're using data-driven strategies to counter the negative effects of COVID. And I don't know what that means, but I will leave it to you, Lakhi Singh, because you're the expert. We are merely the minions supporting your wisdom. You're the oracle of knowledge. So, yeah, how are landlords and tenants using data-driven information to counter the negativity of COVID? What do you reckon that topic means? And who is it who's come out with it? Yes.
Very interesting topic, I say.
You just get high today, Lakhi Singh.
Sorry?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting topic.
Yeah, I'm saying, I reckon we should just get high and say what. Yeah. So give us your input then. What's the weather like there in London, sir?
It's snowing outside.
Who's the guest today? Mandy's the guest today. Is it snowing outside?
Yeah, Mandy's actually waiting in the wings. Shall I get her on?
Yeah, let's get Mandy on. It's snowing outside. It's snow. We have Snow White on with the snow. Mandy, the princess, Snow White. How are you, Mandy?
I'm good, thank you. How are you two this morning?
Yes, we are good. Yes, this morning we have a very difficult topic that's been thrown, and I think we're going to rely on you to help us.
Okay.
How are tenants and landlords using data-driven information to help them from the effects of COVID? What does that mean?
Is that to me or Lakhi?
Yes, it's to Mandy. Because Mandy, we're asking you the difficult question this morning.
Okay,
you to get your feet under the desk. You have been away from us for so long.
I know. Glad to be back.
Mandy. Excelente. Go on then.
No, I can understand why landlords are particularly worried about COVID, because they don't know if they're going to have their job and if they can pay the rent. And landlords are ended up paying out of their own pocket to cover their own payments. So it's getting harder and harder for landlords now. So they're looking at different strategies, which I can understand completely. So it is getting harder and harder, unfortunately.
I've got the saying of the week as well, apparently. learn to turn your wounds into wisdom. Or as would be said in another far-fetched part of the world, learn to turn your wounds into wisdom. So you can call them wounds, you can call them wounds. How do you turn your wounds into wisdom? Lakhi Singh, question goes to you, sir. Are you turning your wounds into wisdom or wounds into wisdom?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. I think sometimes wounds can be.
Can you hear?
I can hear you fine.
What's the matter? Lakhi Singh. Lakhi Singh's.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Loud and clear. I think it's VJ Sal that keeps cutting out like a robot as usual.
BJ sounds frozen actually. Look, it's the first time I've seen him quiet actually, because normally doesn't get any of the guests to be able to speak.
Yeah, I
Just
can hear you.
about,
Yeah.
you can hear us now. Yes,
You're breaking up a bit, but you're all right.
I said it was the first time ever that any of the guests actually had a chance to speak. So
Excellent.
So I was about to say about the wounds. Yes, if you have got a wound, sometimes it can also be a motivator. So it's a bit like being in the jungle. Once you've got a wound, you need to survive. So you still need to eat, still need to breathe, have water. And so having a wound sometimes isn't a bad thing. It does actually put you in a flight or fight mode. But sometimes that can be survival as well. So having a wound can actually probably help to try and get you woken up to smell the coffee sometimes as well, I would say. Yeah.
I think that's it. Mandy, what do you say?
It is the flight or fight situation, definitely. But I think you have to put yourself in difficult situations to get ahead and fight it, because if you stay in the comfort zone, you're not getting anywhere. So in that sense, I would say you've got to get out of your comfort zone, definitely.
Okay, getting out of your comfort zone, that makes sense. Okay. So the other part of today's question is tenants and landlords are using data to counter the negative effects of COVID. So let's find out what type of data from Lakhi Singh. What type of data do you think, Lakhi, in your knowledge, is being used by tenants and landlords? What type of data do you think they're using to counter the negative effects of COVID?
To be honest, I think it's quite a surreal question. I don't know who actually thought of that. Was that you, BJ Sal?
No, I've got some clever guys in the back office who came out with this question. I think they've come out with it because they probably are probably suffering from lockdown fever themselves, and they're trying to work out the stats, how to stay sane in lockdown. Right. I mean, okay, let's try and open the topic up. I think it relates to people using different forms of media or material information that's being viewed by people to keep themselves positive during lockdown. So that they're using or they're relying upon the sources of certain information on the net to establish the best form of therapy, maybe. So they're looking at stats and seeing, well, what is it that people are watching more nowadays to keep themselves entertained or keep themselves motivated. I think that's what could mean. What say you to that, Lakhi Singh? Would that be the case? Is that what people are doing?
I think me and Mandy having a private conversation on text. Answering her question. Is that why aren't we live on Facebook today as well? So we've had a problem with my account. It's been disabled for some reason. My Facebook account. So I think
when was that from?
That answer out of the way. Facebook have temporarily disabled all my account. I don't know why. So we've done it a couple of times before.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get fixed hopefully by tomorrow. So for the moment, we're going to be literally currently on YouTube at the moment, which is not linked to Facebook. So what's going to happen is that I assume, hold on one sec.
He's gone.
No, he's assuming something. I think he's concentrating on his thoughts. He wants to make the assumption clear. Right, while we're waiting for him to come back, Mandy, give me an understanding. What do you think people are using then? Why do you think people are using data? Why are they using data to somehow negate the, or at least minimize the negative effects of COVID lockdown?
To minimize
to minimize the effect of lockdown.
No, it's to minimize the effect on their business at the end of the day, because they are a business, they're not charity. But I can understand some people have given their properties over to the local council to look after for a certain period to get income in. But it is the risk factors. They've got to weigh up their position and take it from there and go forward. They have to look at the best strategy for them rather than the tenant, even though they will look after the tenant, but it's a two-way conversation, isn't it? So it's a lot of people are at risk of losing their job as well. So it's not a good situation to be in at the moment.
Do you think there's any light at the end of the tunnel? Do you think things are going to actually get better? Do you think whatever the government's doing is actually to bring the aircraft up from a nosedive, or are they just really just trying to slow down the crash? What do you think is happening?
I think they're slowing down the crash, definitely. I understand they want to bring the economy back and take things forward and build them back up, obviously. And I've forgotten the train of thought now.
What we're talking about, is it a nosedive or is it really a soft landing? Is what they're trying to do? What are they trying to do? Do you think there's really anything to come out of all of this?
Hopefully, yes. But at the moment, I can't see this going away anytime soon. Definitely be around for another couple of years before it evens out.
Another couple of years.
Yeah, I see it that way, but that's my opinion personally. So,
do you think certain businesses are going to go out of fashion then? Do you think certain businesses are just going to shut down and they won't be around anymore?
Oh, definitely. It's already happening. So,
like what?
You've got your, let me think.
Paper chase.
Oh yeah, there was paper chase. Yeah, normal clothing stores. A lot of the stores are closing down because obviously they can't compete with Amazon. If they've got an online presence, yeah, that's great. But a lot of stores are closing down, and plus, when we do come out of lockdown, it won't be the norm. People can't go shopping regularly to normal shops as they used to. So there is that missing element, I guess, that's going to happen.
Okay, Lakhi Singh, do you see yourself buying your lingerie online?
Maybe for his wife.
Well, I didn't say who for. I just said, do you see you buying your lingerie online? That's what I said.
Yeah, when I get for your birthday, I'll be picking some nice lingerie for you.
Why would you be picking up things for Mandy's birthday?
I'm talking about your birthday.
My birthday?
You may not need lingerie if you're wearing a birthday suit.
Yeah.
BJ, when is your birthday?
When is my birthday? Yeah. My birthday is on the 9th of the 11th, 66. So I know I don't look it. What I meant to say is 9th of the 11th, 86. Yes. So
Bless
yeah.
you.
So
we've got
I'm
plenty of
sort of-
time to. We've got plenty of time to think about your birthday present then.
Yeah. So okay, Lakhi Singh, what do you say? Do you think there's going to be certain businesses that are just going to go under? They're not going to be around anymore. We're not going to see. Just for example, we're not going to have any coffee shops around anymore. It's just going to be dispensing machines everywhere. Is it going to be a bit like Total Recall? You are in a driving machine. Which is your next destination? Is it going to be like that? Well, what is it going to be?
Let's do that again.
What is your next destination? You know that robot taxi man that having totally plugs out?
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Was that you?
No, it wasn't me. I was copying him. But the point is, are there going to be things that are not going to be around anymore, Lakhi? Do you think that's going to be one?
We're going to see a fundamental shift. It is almost going to be like some sort of sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think pretty much a lot of clothes stores would have gone out of business. A lot of it, they're going to have to move online because by the mere fact of being closed down for about a year, and none of them are able to sustain their businesses or trying to go back in. We're going to have a lot more newer businesses coming in, which are funded but got a new concept model, and they're probably going to be very much about shopping online and then going to see something, going to see and actually seeing look and feel of something is going to be a luxury. I don't think that's going to be around as much anymore. Because the cost of actually setting up a business, and that's actually all the really good ones that are out there already, which have got good business models, are the ones that will probably stay because they'll have the money. But anybody that's somewhere in the middle or at the lower end of the market, they're not going to be able to keep up with dealing with their costs and staff costs and their fixed costs and variable costs. I think they're pretty much going to go out of business. So I think you're probably going to get only 20% of the market around for fashion.
Yeah, but I mean, surely for the minions, for the people who are, just about making ends meet, those people who are on low salaries, those people who are on benefits or income support, etc. For those people, there's got to be some sense of shopping or items available that they can look, feel, and touch, rather than everything being online, because they probably won't be able to afford buying in that way, so they're buying everything online. Don't you think there's going to be something still left there? What do you say, Mandy? Do you think there's going to be some essence of, an underworld? There's going to be a world, and then there's going to be a level 2 world, which is the cheap and cheerful, those things that will still rely upon touchy-feely, going to a local shop. Do you think that will still be there, though?
No, your local shops are going to disappear, definitely. The smaller businesses, they're going to disappear, definitely, unfortunately. But it's going to be, like Lakhi said, it's going to be the big companies that are going to be there for the long term. But the small business is definitely going to disappear, which is a shame, because it's people's livelihoods. And what are they going to do?
Okay, is it? I mean, I know it sounds really drastic, but we've seen it in the movies, haven't we? That everything is virtual. You order everything virtually, but I mean, in a movie to see it, it is just a movie, isn't it? They don't tell you ultimately you've got to call the plumber in because the toilet, the sump is broken. In the movies, everything's perfect, so it's just like that new sci-fi flat, and there's you can't see any dust anywhere, you can't see any clothes lying around. But in reality, human existence still needs some form of interaction. It can't just be a big system that drives. That's probably about another 2-3 levels up. At this level that we're at the moment, we're shifting from 3G to 4G. So in terms of the connectivity of the world going into a 2-dimensional connectivity. So
Oh no,
you can buy online. Yeah?
We're going into 5G.
Yeah, I think 5G hasn't actually become a sort of like a common thing. I think what they've done is the infrastructure for 5G is what they're setting up, which they have set up. I think a lot of the things that we're feeling around us, things are happening, a shift in, mood, a shift in energy, a shift in climate, all that is coming from the fact that the 5G infrastructure is probably switched on. But remember, our utensils, our equipment is still somewhat, sort of like 3G stroke 4G. We haven't got to the interactivity that 5G offers. We're just at 3 and 4. And 3 is probably where we're really at. If you look at the bulk of people, everybody is at 3G. Everyone's using handheld devices, Androids, using sort of like video calling, and we're using, live Zoom and this live stream and XYZ. But it's not really complete and interactive properly yet. I think getting the infrastructure in is the first thing, having the capacity. I think the devices will come afterwards. But when we're talking about practical life and living, I think we're still in that main shift, as was when Lakhi was young in the Industrial Revolution, when we first started realizing there was coal around and that it could be used to drive manufacturing. And I think Lakhi could probably give us more of an insight of what happened during your time in the Industrial Revolution. Or was it like this? Was it the same type of drastic shift from mechanical driven machines, steam engines, and where you were on a course? Because I can imagine Lakhi was probably trotting around on a donkey or something, because they wouldn't give him a horse. What is that? Probably a mule. Yeah, Lakhi, is it the same thing that's happening now that happened in the early 1900s?
Yeah, I think everything just comes down to change. I think we went on to from one type of let's say from land into more of a industrial revolution, and then from industrial revolution we moved on to a service-led industry. So I think now we're moving from probably having a major shift from a face-to-face physical retail type experience to an online experience. So I think this is probably the next revolution, really. So I think even I know VJ is trying to make a joke, which they really succeed. But I think it was a good one, actually. But on a more serious note, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, and it is actually a serious joke. What I'm trying to get from you is, when you were around in the early 90s, did you feel that this was happening then? And you were probably thinking, what's all these steam engines about? What's all this coal black thing about? It's a bit like, what's all this 3G, 4G thing about? But if you really look at it, we're not really exploiting 3G or 4G to its maximum opta. It's really just the fact that 3 and 4G is around for telecommunication. We're not really using it to its full optimization. So getting the 5G in is merely getting the infrastructure in. We're not really there. We're not really totally on the grid. What has happened is that obviously being locked in has allowed the governmental departments to monitor everyone. So monitor behavior, monitor your mobile phone to see, are you sitting at home? Have you left the house? You can't be walking because a person can't walk, 35 miles an hour. So you must be out in your car. So things like that. I think that's probably the way government and departments are probably using this time to monitor how to keep a tab on people, how to check on people, what type of laws have we been? Because remember, the laws haven't really been changed yet. The laws to back up lockdown aren't really enforced, are they? They're just guidelines. What about when the guidelines take a new turn and it becomes law? What do you think is going to happen then, Mandy?
Oh, we will be tracked 24/7, definitely. All our movements, our messages, our emails, they're all going to be tracked. It's probably already happening, personally, I think. You don't know because they're not transparent with the information that they provide, and which they should be in this day and age. But what can you do?
Yeah, because obviously they've got reasons. These reasons are the war on terror and things like that. So they're saying we can't tell you, it's a security breach. Lakhi, what do you think is going to happen? Are you going to go underground and become like a mutant ninja turd and start life underground in the sewers?
That would be ideal, actually. At least just relax and have nothing to worry about. Because shit does happen, doesn't it?
Shit does happen. That's right, shit does happen. But I can't imagine myself fighting with a rat for sleeping space. I'm not going to be doing that. Mandy, what do you think? Do you think we're going to go underground, the real minions of us, people who are still out of the grid? We're going to go underground and live in some rat-infested sewer, become a mutant ninja turd? What do you reckon?
It's possible. Anything is possible at the minute. But certain people will want to go underground because they don't want to be on the grid. So, which is understandable. But it doesn't matter if you've got something to hide or you have. But people will.
Do they? You just want to be. I don't want to. I don't want someone tracking me when I go to the toilet to work out what it was that I ate last night. I don't want to do that for. So, Lakhi Singh, can you imagine standing in a drain pipe and getting flushed with local, all the muck that comes out of the local toilets? Would you have to buy an umbrella? You have to buy like a big umbrella to keep you protected.
He's got all serious now that you've said that.
Is it the thought of being showered? Is that what's giving you that feeling of being serious? Are you trying to imagine how big the umbrella's got to be?
Yeah, sounds quite exciting actually. Because shit does happen.
Shit does happen. Like I said, I can't imagine myself fighting with
It's
a
like
sewer rat.
mud runner, isn't
it?
This could be a new version of the mud runner.
The mud runner, yes. Mud runner or more, no, just like I said, the mutant ninja, the mutant ninja turd thing. You could be one of those turds wearing those ninja masks. You could be walking around. Pardon?
It can be sensei instead of one of the turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of the turtles, you could be what could you be?
I think I've lost track of this conversation, but it's about something really exciting about data-driven strategies.
Mandy's taken over. She's taken over the show with the wild, wacky ideas. Mandy, don't do that. Don't. You're going to keep focused.
By the way, we've got some comments here because Vijay Sal's not got access to all the comments today. So
what are the comments?
So basically, a couple of important announcements, by the way. This is only going out on YouTube, so if anybody, John Smith or Meena Kapoor are around, or Noman is around, it's quite easy to share this video from YouTube onto all the live streams so everybody can see it. Mandy can probably share it to all the groups.
Oh, I've already shared it.
Okay, great.
I think it's already been done. So we have short-circuited the system. We are already against the machines. Lakhi Singh, you are like a human mutant ninja turd, come like the Terminator, or rather the Turbinator. The Turbinator meets the mutant ninja turd. You've short-circuited the system. Well done. That's your first attack against the machines.
So that's announcement number one. Somebody's also saying in the YouTube, they're saying, wow, both looking dapper, Lakhi Singh and Vijay Sal. I don't know about Vijay Sal looking dapper, he just looks a bit puffy to me.
Talking of all that shit, he probably means diaper, not dapper. We're both looking like diapers, living underground. We need to come back on the ground and come back into the real world. Right, coming back to the real world.
I think there's also a couple of other comments. It says, Vijay, where's your kissy stick? I'm wondering to see that. So I think somebody's actually making profanities like yourself. I think must be. You haven't put these comments in yourself.
No, I haven't done them myself. But MBDO, I'm going to hopefully this next week. I'm going to have the Kissy 6 design, and we're going to test the first prototype on, and like normal, like all prototypes, all new technology, we will test them out on animals. And if they work well, we will then put them onto humans. But I will have the Kissy 6 designed in this week. We've already given the money to the manufacturers. They are, as we speak, chopping, cutting, gluing. So hopefully by next weekend, I will have the first prototype of the Kissy stick. The Kissy stick. And we will start manufacturing and taking orders from the following week onwards. Right, so coming back onto the planet, we come out of the gutter, wrestled back our pillow from the local rat, and we come back onto the high street. What do you think? Which type of business, what other business do you think is going to go out of business? It's not going to be around. We're not saying the business won't be there. They're just going to have to do business in another way, and they won't be on the high street anymore. We won't see it anymore.
You're talking to me or to Mandy?
I'm talking to, I'll go to Mandy because you're already out of the zone. You're still in the, you're echoing, you're still in the gutter, you have to come out. Mandy, what do you think? What else? Do you think food and beverage will stay on the high street?
Half of them will, and half will disappear. The smaller corner shops, definitely I can see disappearing, but the larger...
Yes, please, Mr. Patel shop, that's going to go, is it?
Oh no, maybe not Mr. Patel, but the other corner shops, there's smaller local ones like here. There's wherever there's a co-op that pops up, if there's a small local business around them, that seems to go out of business and disappear. That's what I've noticed a lot in Manchester. Because hasn't
that gone full circle though, Mandy? Hasn't it been that even the co-op now sometimes can't provide that personal service? And I don't mean holistic massages. I mean like a personal service that a local shopkeeper does. When you go in, yes, please, jolly good, Mr. Khan, what you want? We can get it for you, anything, quick fix. So, I mean, that's the co-op can't do that, can they?
No.
Vijay Sal reminds me of Mr. Khan from was that
Mr.
TV
Khan,
program?
yeah. Mr. Khan
is
No, because
Mr. Khan.
That one.
Oh, it was Mr. Khan, yeah, on BBC
Yeah.
One.
You
Yeah,
look like him as well. Just need a little funny hat, mate.
yeah, he
That's the
just
guy,
did
yeah.
that famous little thing.
Yeah. I mean, the point is that personal service co-op can't provide. Okay, it's a big multiple. We know that. Oh, it's not really a big multiple. It's like a middle multiple. But surely, I mean, it's a bit vague when you say when the short. Well, okay, food and beverages will stay because people always want to go somewhere and pick up something. Can't always be ordering online, or can you? Online ordering becomes so efficient that you go click and they're knock on the door. Do you reckon that's how efficient it's going to become?
Hopefully it will, because there's not enough slots for people at the moment with the 3 lockdowns that we've had.
Mhm.
And there's vulnerable people still being missed, and they
Mhm.
need to lower their minimum spend, because not everybody can spend that much on their shopping. Like myself, I'm a single person. I don't go shopping on a big budget, so every week. So on that sense, it would help me if I didn't have to go shopping each week in that sense. But hopefully they will get their act together, and it'll be more regimen and more on time, and they'll be more efficient.
So
Definitely, hopefully.
it's really efficient. I mean, I can imagine. Do you think Lakhi Singh, the local gentlemen's club, will operate that way? Click on the door. Would you reckon that will work?
I have no idea. I couldn't comment on that one.
Lakhi Singh, what do you think? What do you have on the door? Door service?
He's disappeared.
Is he gone? Is it overwhelmed? I think he's fallen down one of the gutter. He forgot to put the top of the gutter hole. He's back in the gutter and he's got his mask on and he's fighting some local rats with his ninja sword. Okay, we'll come back to Mandy. Right, do you think it's going to work then, Mandy? Do you think it's going to have on the door? What do you reckon?
It could go either way on that
Go
one.
either way. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, my understanding is if the high street becomes too expensive for anybody to stay, because that's what they will do if they keep the rates there and the business rates and all that, they're going to make it impossible for a high street to function. But it doesn't mean local shops won't function like local shops. You know, those type of shops which are in residential areas. You know, the corner shop that's around the corner in a little spot where there's no high street and there's no secondary high street, but it's convenient for you to go out and buy a bottle of milk. I think they will survive. What do you reckon? They'll start becoming busy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, definitely. Hopefully, touch wood, they will stay around, because that's the community relies on that. So if they disappear, people are going to have to travel a lot further just for their everyday amenities. So hopefully,
my picture is my prediction, you can put it, or my sort of concept of what's going to happen is online ordering is going to become so multifaceted, so efficient that you're going to have. I mean, they've started using drones for delivery and all that, and that's all well and good. It's like testing technology. But I think it's going to be like that. I think it's really going to become super efficient where you could have your clothes, your food, your, any shopping item delivered. And the next level in is the concept of customer satisfaction online. So where something's been delivered isn't quite what you were looking for, how do you return it, and how do you find the right thing. And ultimately, humans need touchy-feely. So either we start going into self-decorated accommodation, and we don't need to decorate our own dwellings, or you really go into a situation where you're into self-sustainable accommodation, just got everything in it, from your lights to your cleaning system to your food delivery, like sort of like serving hatches, and the apartment, like a service apartment, actually delivers your food order. So it has one floor dedicated to a grocery and one floor dedicated to a clothes department. As soon as you enter the building, there's a camera that scans your body up, Mandy. And I am there behind the camera trying to see everything that you've got to measure up what you're about. And then as soon as you get to your room, you have a little email comes through on the big screen and it says, "Welcome, Mandy, to your new accommodation. I see that your bra size is X. Are you in need of any more bras?" So I start doing all the work for you. Can you see that happening though, Mandy?
Yeah, it can. It will happen eventually, but not in the near future. But in the distant future, it definitely will happen.
Yeah, I can see that your stomach seems empty. Are you hungry? Should I get something ready? I see in your file that you like macaronis and cheese. So I get you macaroni and cheese ready. And I see the last time you ate macaroni and cheese was 63 hours and 42 minutes ago. I mean, that type of thing. Can you see that happening?
Yeah, in the distant future, but not anytime soon.
At the moment, it won't be. So, Lakhi Singh, what do you say? You come in, I scan you, look, scan your body all the way up and down, and you walk into your apartment and say, "Welcome, Mr. Singh, to your new apartment. I see you have not been fed in 2 years. Would you like something to eat?" What would you? Do you think that's going to work?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot quicker than we think, because whilst we had lockdown, you had all these geeky techie people that are already locked up in a little room somewhere already. Can you imagine even more of them locked up together? So you're going to have some sort of whatever VJ Sal is saying is actually nothing compared to what's going to happen, because I probably see that all that you're probably going to get a huge tech boom, like you had the .com boom in the sort of what was it, early 2000s. You're going to have now like another AI or a tech boom. So I think that's going to be massive. It's going to probably, you're going to have probably like now's probably the time, if you've got a couple of quid lying around, you can put a quid into one of these tech companies, they're probably multiplied by 10. So if you choose the right one.
What you're saying is it's going to be a bit like IBM was back in the 60s.
That's right.
People who thought it wasn't worth anything, it was a who blah blah, and they put money into it and they made made a killing. But like Buck Rogers, not Buck Rogers, Back to the Future. You reckon it's going to be like that? Is it, Lakhi?
Yeah, I think you are definitely going to get the flying skateboard and all this sort of stuff happening at some stage. But I think the tech to sort of, if you just combine Alexa with your house and your fridge and your food, and just have a standard dashboard, I mean, that could be happening straight away. I'm sure somebody's already thought of it, integrating all your household, your diet, your food, all together.
You've got the clever CRM systems that actually help a lot of these fast FMCGs maintain their stock levels in their outlets. So you've got that. What says they can't use that in your fridge? That's quite possible. Then you've got sensors and stats that are quite sensitive now. They can pick up what you're buying shopping, the cards, your loyalty cards that pick up what you like to buy regularly. So they're always giving you vouchers and discounts for the things that are actually relevant in your shopping list. So it's not, and I think Lakhi's right. It's not going to be too long when they integrate your shopping habits directly to your fridge, directly to the software and gadgets at home, and directly to some form of a screen or talking, robot that walks around and gives you ideas like, what do you think, Lakhi? Like a little doggy robot walking Lakhi around. What do you think, dog? What do you think, Lakhi? What do you think? You buy some sausages? Do you order some sausages? And Lakhi saying, no, I don't want any sausages at the moment. Yeah, but your fridge doesn't have any sausages at the moment. Lakhi should order some sausages. You want some more sausages? He says, look, I don't need any sausages. So he pulls up his ninja sword and chops off the battery of the dog. The dog says, do you reckon we should order some new batteries, Lakhi? Some new batteries for me? Do you reckon that will happen? Mandy, can you see that happening?
Yes, I can see that happening. Because like I've got my washing machine connected to my phone, so I know when it's finished, and I can start it with my phone as well. So it's already happening. So
He's already one of those geeks sitting at home creating new technology for us. So you will be actually, and she'll have a little camera stuck inside Lakhi's laundry bag. Lakhi, you have depleted all of your underpants. You need to put some into the wash, otherwise you'll be wearing dirty underpants. What do you reckon, Lakhi Singh? Can you see that happen? Can you see Mandy prying into your laundry, looking into your laundry machine?
I think one thing that's not going to be replaceable is the weird anecdotes of VJ Sal. So I think if anybody can replace that, then I think that's scientifically impossible.
Right, we've got a good morning from the social media manager. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for your call out, shout out. Good morning. Yes, all right. No, okay, look, we're talking in jest, but what we're saying seems only a fingertip away from us. I think a lot of these things, independently in isolation, have all been tried and tested. I think integrating this technology won't take too long. I think Lakhi's right. The lockdown will have provided a lot much more time for these super developers to chunk together all these different components of technology to make a seamless ordering system from your fridge to the farm. How's that sound? So it means that even your orders that go from the local store affect the farm, and that also regulates the amount of meat that's being produced or wheat that's being produced. So it brings up farming efficiency, doesn't it? What do you reckon? I think
there's something we studied about 30 years ago when I did a postgraduate in management studies, which is called just-in-time manufacturing. And it reminds me of that, which is managing your whole supply chain. But in some ways, actually, it could actually make things a lot more efficient, because then you only get what you're going to use, and it's just-in-time delivery as well.
No, but if you look at it from a point of view, everybody's heard of the food mountains in Europe. So, we've got all these butter and grocery and vegetables and fruits that get wasted every year, every week, every month, because they're overproduction, and the production that takes place is not sufficient, or is over the requirement demand in Europe, and yet you've got people starving in Africa and other places, Asia. So I think, as a concept, there's a concept called fork to farm, which is the concept of the quality assurance of the food that you're eating. if that's just transferred into supply chain management in terms of volumes, can you imagine the efficiency it will bring up? And all that surplus food is already pre-ordered to be sent away to a country that needs it, sold at a discount even, so that there's people in another part of the world that can be fed with that food. How grand an idea that is. What do you reckon, Mandy? Is that it?
No,
After all that hard work I put in drafting out a complete eco-design system that's going to make the food supply chain efficient and going to feed a few hungry mouths in Africa and Asia.
No. I think there's going to be a meat shortage at some point that will happen.
Yeah.
Unless it's brought into the UK. But it depends on the Brexit deal that has been negotiated of what comes in and what we'll have. So it's a waiting game to see what happens.
Excellente. So, Lakhi Singh, are you meditating? Are you in the clouds? Are you practicing your ninja moves, being that you are a ninja turd?
I think I thought I was trying to be super efficient by coming in at 6 o'clock yesterday and 6 o'clock this morning.
Very nice.
Got up at 4 this morning, so maybe a bit too early. So I already need a bit of a snooze, actually. But it's quite handy, actually, being on the show. I can actually have a snooze now, couldn't I?
Right, okay. Having a snooze is also something that will become virtual, because that means we don't really need to be there. I will be talking to Mandy with one of those virtual machines that have been designed to make. Have you seen those machines, Mandy? They've got these. They've got Obama speaking. It's not really Obama. It's actually a virtual image of Obama, and the voice and everything actually is just as if he was speaking. Have you seen those?
No,
the hologram. The hologram.
No, the hologram is a separate thing. A hologram is a halogen, they call it, not even a hologram. It is the use of three-dimensional laser technology that has been used in certain live music shows with stars who aren't really there but singing the song. It's quite unique. So they've got, I think, people like Jay-Z or someone singing a song, rapping a song rather, and they've got him on the stage as if he's there, but he's not really there. Have you heard of that, Mandy?
No.
Have you heard of Star Wars?
Unfortunately, yes, and I don't like it.
You've not heard of Star? Have you heard of Star Wars?
Yes, I have.
Thank God you heard of Star Wars. Okay, so we're getting to start. Let's start from Star Wars.
Okay.
You have seen Star Wars, the movie?
I have.
Did you watch about Star Wars?
It was about him finding his son, wasn't it? No, his father even.
That's Hansel and Gretel. That's not Star Wars. That's Hansel and Gretel. Mandy, that's Hansel and Gretel. That's not Star Wars. Star Wars is with all the big laser machines.
I know, and they've got the swords that light up and everything.
Yes, that's Star Wars. Lakhi Singh, you have meditated the memory out of Mandy. I think you have been using your superpowers as a super ninja turd, and you have taken all the memory away from Mandy. She can't remember what Star Wars is about. Can you tell us, Lakhi Singh, what is it that reminds you of today that can be reflected in Star Wars? Are we in Star Wars? Where's he gone? They're both gone. Right, I'm talking to myself now. Yes, Rajesh, good morning. Top of the morning to you. And we got Lakhi Singh back. Right, Lakhi Singh, can you stop vanishing from the screen?
Yeah, I just pressed one button. Mandy's back as well.
Are you pressing your button there? Mandy's back there. Okay, Mandy. Right, Lakhi Singh, can you tell us, are we actually presently in Star Wars zone? You reckon we're actually in Star Wars era?
I think we are. I think it is the light versus the dark, and you have to really be working on your inner light and vibrating at a higher level to connect with the force. And if you don't, there's a possibility that you can be stimulated by COVID-19.
Okay, that's quite philosophical. So, oh, Mandy, can you tell us, please? Do you think this is like Star Wars? Are we in the time of Star Wars? You know, a lot of the movies that came out early '60s, well before I was born,
Before I was
when
born.
Lakhi was at uni, possibly. So when those movies came out, don't you feel like a lot of those movies? Lakhi's falling off his chair. So,
I got attacked by
Lakhi's falling off his chair. Okay, so Mandy's saying a horror movie is probably more what it's like. It's like you're a werewolf, Lakhi, possibly. Are you a werewolf, Lakhi Singh? Are you a hairy man with fangs?
That'll be telling.
Yeah. Mandy, what do you think? Do you imagine yourself as being one of those vampire-esque women floating around, waiting to suck the blood out of an innocent young man like me? Are you one of those?
Of course I am.
Oh, right, okay. So please tell us, do you think, honestly tell me, you know, look, apart from jokes, don't you feel like a lot of the things that we've been seeing in the last 30, 40 years, especially on the sci-fi thing, technology thing, don't you think we're actually now getting, this is now going into that zone where those things are becoming real? You know, like touch screen, come on, touch screen. You ever imagine, you're gonna be, I know you probably imagine touching people up, not touching people, I'm talking about touching a screen and finding that your finger can move things around. Did you ever imagine that would be a reality?
Yes, I did, but it's gone. It's happened a lot quicker.
Did you ever think that would be real?
Yes,
be touching
definitely.
a screen and things would be moving around.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. No, we are. It's all like the sci-fi films and the futuristic films. Things are coming to light now. Things are happening because you can get 3D.
Happened a lot quicker. So you did imagine it would happen then?
Yeah.
I'm being. I don't mind. No.
You're cutting out, VJ.
Well, VJ starts cutting out.
I could never have. I could imagine touching someone else up. I mean, I could imagine touching someone up. I don't think I'd ever imagine that we'd be touching the screen. I think I couldn't have thought that far ahead. Lucky, what do you say? I know you touch a lot of people up all the time. Did you think you'd be touching the screen as well?
I'll leave that to you. I tend to be touching the screen rather than touching people up.
Okay. Right. Well, we got inside the mind of Lakhi Singh there. For all those people who are listening to find out how the fixer works, we're going to have to say good night or good day or good evening or good day. See you tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. again tomorrow in the Lakhi Singh's Alternative and Business Property Solutions community with Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, the business and property fixer. Thank you so much, Mandy. You have been a joke and a laugh, and you have put us on the mat today. You've been very giggly today. Thank you so much.
I have.
Smile. Thank you. And give us some of those.
Take care.